Anthony Albanese has returned to the Garma Festival in north-east Arnhem Land, announcing a new partnership to drive economic development in Indigenous communities. Some have criticised the plan, believing the Prime Minister is rehashing old news.
The Garma Festival in north-east Arnhem Land is a celebration of song, dance and culture. But it's also a place for the serious business of Indigenous politics. Almost 2 years on, the failed Voice referendum still looms large at this event.
We talked about it last year and we shed a tear together. And now it's behind us.
The curse of Indigenous disadvantage, however, lives on. This week's Closing the Gap report revealed just 4 of 15 targets measured were on track.
There are good intentions and what is described as hard work, but without crunching systemic change, there will be no betterment.
On his 4th trip to Garma since taking office, the Prime Minister announced a new economic partnership with the coalition of peak Indigenous organisations.
This builds on our commitment to the Closing the Gap agreement, to its call for a new way of doing business and to the principles of shared decision-making.
There was also $75 million to help development for native title holders and $31 million for the delivery of TAFE in remote communities.
Utes and trailers that will enable teachers to take skills on the road and train the next generation of mechanics, carpenters, plumbers and workers in the Aboriginal community-controlled sector.
There was conditional support from the opposition.
Well, we welcome the Prime Minister's focus on economic participation. That's always been the focus of the Coalition's priorities in Indigenous affairs. And the Prime Minister has said that this will be a time of delivery. We and the Coalition will be holding him to account.
But some were underwhelmed. Uluru Dialogue co-chair Megan Davis posting on social media, "It's literally the same announcement as last Garma." The Prime Minister wasn't in the mood for further discussion.
Have you lost your ambition for broader reform in more tricky areas like treaty, truth-telling?
I'm talking to the First Nations leaders.
Will you speak to us after?
I'm talking to the First Nations leaders as a priority, with respect.
The Yolngu people of north-east Arnhem Land are no strangers to disappointment. They were first promised a treaty by Bob Hawke at the Garma Festival in 1988. Almost 40 years on, they have promised to keep the fire burning.
Even though we live with shattered dreams, we must keep looking to the future.
Matt Cunningham, Sky News, Darwin.